All right, let's kick this off before the sun goes down and we can't even see each other anymore. Kia ora and welcome to the Quality Antics podcast. I am here on the couch, sipping a licorice tea with my wife, the one and only Nicole Risdon. Nicole, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Cozy. I'm in my pajamas. Sorry for anyone who's visually taking this in.
Yeah, we mentioned about doing a podcast, kicking one off, and part of the reason was because I'm getting a new setup going and new mics, new recorder, everything, and we're like, yeah, it'd be good to test run that bad boy, and that hasn't arrived yet, but we were like, let's just do it anyway. Let's have a bit of a chin wag, let's keep it pretty cash, a bit of a lounge setup with a cup of tea and some extendy boomy mics. So we are recording video, so if you want to tune into that, you can head to YouTube at Quality Antics Podcast if you want to see the visuals of Nicole covering herself in a rug because she's wearing PJs. But yeah, okay, so Nicole, fill me in. 2020, you've been on the podcast every season, so the people, if they're here, if they've tuned in, you are dog trainer extraordinaire. You're the dog walking queen. Some would say the queen of Christchurch in the dog scene. What's 2020? What's been going on?
Well, really hit the ground running, I think. Where do I even start?
She's speechless.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, 2019 was a bit crap.
Okay.
So 2020, I was like, yep, starting off positive, motivated, ready to get into it. And it's been great. Like, it has been perfect. There's just a lot going on and a lot of exciting things, but a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you have a good break? Did you kick off straight away early in Jan, or did you?
Yeah. So we always shut down for 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year. So we went away up to Tochanui, had a really nice time, did lots of fishing, did lots of chilling, just mucked around really, did lots of boating around, tried out the, what's that thing called? The board? With the little,
like a foil board?
Foil board, yeah. Tried out the
tried
foil
that,
board.
didn't you?
Yep, yeah.
Epic.
Some major face planting happened, yeah. No, it was good. So we shut down and then I kind of came back and tidied a few things up. I've got 3 work vehicles, so I brought them all around and cleaned them out inside and out. So, dog walking vans, where you're taking 5 groups at a time, cleaning that inside and out. Wouldn't recommend it.
Bit of a mish, but to be honest, you do love a car clean.
I do love the satisfaction at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That next moment. So you walk away, you've cleaned it, you walk away, you feel good, and then when you go and jump back into it, you're like,
so good.
Yeah.
But like when your car's got like 2 chewing gum wrappers in it and you clean it, it's nowhere near as satisfying as like
you've got to let that
dog car with like hair everywhere, and then once it's gone,
I had like a year's worth of hair, dog fur and slobber, and it was good.
I think that's why I leave dishes around, just so when we clean,
really? Is that why? Okay.
It's more rewarding for you.
When I clean? Is that what you're meaning? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
We've started this thing. This is couples therapy here. We started this.
Yeah,
thing
we're doing like a. I feel like this is like a Casey and
Candace
kind of thing going on. Except I'm not going to moan about how kids ruined my life and how down she is about everything.
Too soon. Yeah. What? Yeah. We've been battling back and forth. If one of us leaves a plate out for longer than like 20 seconds, the other will swoop in. Don't worry, I'll pick this up and put this in the dishwasher. And then, sure enough, the next meal, I leave mine, turn my head, and then she's like, "That's fine. I'll take that to the dishwasher." It's good bands. It's good banter. But yeah, okay. So back on track.
Yep.
2020. Loving life, kicking it up a notch. Are you working with more clients? Are you working in different areas of Christchurch? Are you trying new services? Have you got anything top secret you can share with the community, or are you going to keep it under wraps?
I don't know. The listeners are probably sick of hearing about what I do, but I'll tell you anyway. So I have got 7 employees. I'm kind of trimming the fat a little bit. A couple are kind of going off and doing their own thing. They were in limbo, and this is kind of like the perfect thing for them to do. So, we're minimising that. I have branched out to the Rangiora region, so hopefully we'll work to build that up over the next wee while. And I have just had a really exciting meeting yesterday with some awesome, cool new venues that are opening up in the city. So hopefully I can get involved in like every way possible with that, and I can give you some more details once it's all done. But yeah, some really exciting stuff on the horizon. So I just don't know how I'm going to fit it into my day, because at the moment, like, I'm working every day, every night, and the weekend. So it's like, we'll make it work. It'll figure it out.
Love it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Segueing from your business, dog walking and whatnot, I want to tie it in somehow, and the way I'm going to do it is poo. Dog poo. I'm really interested.
Oh, okay.
What percentage of your dogs that you and the crew that you're out with walk go number twos on a walk?
98%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Most every single. We're not only dog walkers, we are professional poo picker-uppers.
Okay.
And I was actually saying to one of my staff today, I met up with her and we did a walk together, and I was actually saying to her, just once, I would like to pick up a poo, not scrape or scoop up a poo. Yeah.
Visuals.
This is my workplace dramas, really. But if
wow.
you've ever been there, you'll know what I mean.
A scrape's never good.
A scrape is never good. You just, because you're relying on that bag for your safety, for your protection, and then yeah.
Okay, so that's why I was trying to segue. So you're at 90. What? No, what did you say? 98%.
Yeah, 98.5.
So occasional. Wow, we.
What do you mean? Why are you so surprised by that?
I don't know. I just thought.
Does your dog do a poo every time she goes for a walk?
No.
Yes, she does. Like
no.
2. I've taken her out one, and she's done like 4.
Depends on the length of the walk, and depends on what's going on. But like Leo, one of our dogs at home, holds it in. He never goes.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought that may be a common thing where some dogs don't go outside.
Some dogs definitely don't. Yeah.
Don't go in other areas.
Leo's funny though. He's like so Leo, he's our dog, and he comes out with me. He's very, very social. He's good at recall, so he's lucky enough to be able to come out like every day with me with other dogs. And he's funny because I take him out every single day, and of course for like a couple of hours. And I've seen him poo on a walk maybe like 5 times. So every time I see him about to do it, I'm like, got to document it. So I send a Snapchat, and then Rizzo the other day got one of him doing a wee squiddy, and he was like, oh my god, what do you mean Leo pooed on this walk today? So this is really good.
yeah. And then 2 days later, she sends me another video, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go, he's back at it again. But it wasn't. It was something different. But yeah, that's why I asked. And how that links in. You're picking up poo every day. You're getting bits of mixed bags. You're not going each dog a separate bag, are you?
No. Well,
Are you okay there?
I'm trying to reach my cup of tea. Well, we try and be.
Just turn that out the way. Push it out to the side, and then grab your tea. Then pull it back.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
No, we try and be as efficient as possible. I do use fully 100% compostable bags. They're home compostable.
And this is where I'm getting to.
Yes, yeah.
You did a video recently about like your recycling efforts and like saving the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You have not given us your input on Europe and your thoughts on Europe. Because for those who are tuning in the first time, welcome. But Nicole and I went to Europe last year, and on that trip, we were like, oh my gosh, like we thought New Zealand was getting a bit savvy and trying to reduce plastic uses, but then we went overseas and we were like, no one seems to be giving a crap about it over here. Like there's just plastic flying around willy-nilly. So then you said, hey, look, when you got back, fill us in. Take us through the story, your experiences with plastic in Europe. I don't know.
When I got back, and I had a chat with Sammy, who's actually Beans' partner, when we were over there, Beans' fiance, I should say. And she noticed the same thing, and we were talking about it, and we're like, oh, when we get back, we're going to just do our best to minimise what we can, because obviously like it's on such a large scale, and if we can make a difference, then let's do it. But it was just things like the amount of plastic water bottles, like when we went to Greece. Greece isn't as glamorous as Instagram makes it out. Well, Santorini isn't as glamorous. Well, we weren't staying in the 5-star $1,000 a night accommodation, so it wasn't as glamorous as we as I had sort of expected it to be based on Instagram, which is always fake, but that's okay. So like you can't drink the water at all in Santorini. You can't drink it from the tap. So you have to buy bottled water. So that's your only option, basically. So it's just stuff like that. Like there's bottled water everywhere, and that's all you can do. And we felt terrible about it. So we're like, well, let's just go with this now and then make a difference when we get home, because we're a bit limited. When we went to Rome was quite bad. Remember walking through from the bus stop to that tunnel that went above the road, and it was just this tunnel that you walk up, and it was just the whole ground was completely littered with rubbish. Like it was, I can't even describe it. It was horrific.
But to be fair, it was just a scat like over the highway tunnel that was like graffiti everywhere. And sure, we got to the bottom, and we're like, is this?
We got to the bottom and got off, and it was worse, wasn't it? There was looked like someone had gone to the dump, loaded up bins of rubbish, and then dumped it on the side of the road. Like it was so weird. But anyway, so stuff like minimizing waste where we can. I've started like baking our own bread and stuff, so that we're not, because bread obviously we use a bit of, and then having no plastic there. I don't know. Being conscious of it, really.
Making your own mayonnaise, making your own aioli.
Yeah, yep, I am.
Being a bit savvy.
Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah.
What else?
I don't know. Well, with my business, I kind of want to go down that track as much as possible too. So obviously, because I've got up to 7 workers out there every day, and we're picking up poos, we walk probably, I'd probably say about 30 dogs a day. So that's a lot of poo. So we, I've now got onto some home compostable bags. I'd actually got onto these before I'd left as well, but just trying to be a tidy Kiwi. But fully home compostable. It's a really cool local brand as well. So it's called Little Green Dog, and they are based in Waiheke Island. Fully home compostable. He started it up. He's done it. It's all local, and it's really reasonably priced. So I think that's the main thing is getting people to shift over, is making that price margin a lot less. So yeah, so that's what I do. And then obviously, like you were saying, do you always use your new bag? Like obviously, we, as much as possible, I'll hold on to that bag and I'll put my finger through that knot, so that if I need to, I can undo that knot and away you go again. So, but in terms of otherwise, with what I do, I mean, the only other waste really comes from treat packets and things. Everything else, we've got towels that we wash all the dogs down and stuff with. Obviously, they go in the wash, and then that's that. Like we just keep reusing and they fall into pieces, but that's fine. Yeah, and otherwise, that's pretty much it in terms of, I don't really know. I've started buying more treats in bulk, so that we can, obviously minimize the waste there. But that's about it, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Every little bit counts, and yeah.
So
I know that's kind of like the moan of the moment, really, isn't it? Like I know that's everywhere, and I know everyone's going on about it, and it's kind of like, you're right, we're already so good at keeping our country clean, but it's just like, if these people over here aren't going to do it, let's make up for it. So yeah.
What were your other big learnings from Europe besides like, hey, wow, it's pretty bad over there in terms of like recycling / like just plastic use in general? What were some other big like key takeaways? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
You've talked about most of them.
Okay.
The smells of Europe.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of urine smells. Yeah.
These places that will look amazing, but then actually they just stink of piss.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
What I learnt as a whole is that it's funny because, again, go back to the Instagram thing. Everything looks amazing on Instagram, but it's like just not what it is. And another thing that I learnt is that we're so bloody lucky to live in New Zealand. Like it's honestly like the people are generally nice. It's a beautiful country. Like there was somewhere in Croatia this Plitvic Lakes or something, which was obviously stunning, but it was the kind of thing that we could see those kinds of views on. Sorry, I did a burp. On the west coast of the South Island.
Lovely.
And we don't have to pay 25 euros to go see this
and
waterfall.
Rush and like queue up.
And queue up and be like waddling along because you're in a queue of people to go take this picture of this big waterfall, so we coming back from that, like we are so lucky to be living in such a beautiful, well-spirited country. country.
Yes, that's the word.
It's almost 9 o'clock, so my brain's
Your
switching
brain's
off a little
fading.
bit. That's right,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it was cool. It was like an awesome experience, and there was places I loved, of course, but as a whole, it's like not what you expect. Yeah, and I think the places I enjoyed the most were the places that I had the least amount of expectations for.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, your favourite spots were like the same as mine. So if you want to hear about that, then there is a whole episode of the podcast about the Europe trip where I go into a bit more detail of the spots we went to and all that jazz. Another thing that's pretty interesting that's going to be kicking off very shortly in your life is fitness, the world of CrossFit. Nicole's very close to jumping in and kickstarting her CrossFit journey.
Yeah.
And she's going to be joining a great gym, Plus64 Fitness, in Christchurch. I'm a raving fan because A, I work there, and B, it's just bloody good. And I've tried to drag Nicole along for a few sessions. She's come. You came along for one or two?
I had a trial week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One or two? One. Two.
2 sessions because
Yes.
what I did is I started the trial week on a Saturday, and it took me until I think Friday to recover to be able to walk properly.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically that was it.
Yeah.
That was my CrossFit history.
I just want you to be brutally honest, which would be interesting to look back on. Like, what are your goals? What are your thoughts? What are your plans in terms of like fitness for you? Is like, hey, I just want to just tick away 2 to 3 times a week. Or you're like, hey, I just want to get into a routine, or hey, I want to, I don't know. Like, what are you thinking?
I feel like again this is like a 2020 motivational yarn.
Yeah.
But I want to. A lot of people, because I do dog walking like all day, every day. A lot of people will sort of go, "Oh, you must be really, really fit," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm good at walking."
Yeah.
You know,
I've
but
got that
like
walking
the other
master.
day, I was at the polo grounds and they had this massive sprinkler going, and there was a narrow path, and we had just had a limited window to get through in time before we got soaked. So I got the dogs ready and I lined it up, and I was like, "Right, dogs, let's go." And then we ran, and we would have ran for probably like it probably would have been about 20 metres.
I'll sort the dogs out. Hold on.
And we ran for probably about 20 metres, and then like that was it. I was done. I got out of that and I was like puffing away, and I was so exhausted. No,
Oh, I'm just chilling.
Tansy's just hanging out outside because I'm looking outside out the window. She's got the view of the street up there. She's on cat watch. It's that time of night. Yeah, so I realised after that, I was like, oh, wow, okay, let's do something about this, because 20 metres running for like 2 seconds, maybe not the best if I'm puffed after that.
Yeah.
And just little things like, yes, I do walking all the time, but like I'm not toned like at all. So I would like to work on that and just get a bit of strength up. So yeah, I mean, I walk heavy dogs every day, so like I do get a bit of a workout. It sounds silly, but I mean, I've got this Leonberger puppy at the moment, which is gorgeous, but he's 65 kgs or something ridiculous. And so if he decides he wants to go in one direction, then it's kind of takes a bit of strength to get him to not go in that direction. So yeah, so just build up strength, I guess, tone, strength. I'm not going to say like I want to lose weight and I want to do this. Like I don't like. I've got to the point where I'm like, whatever, I've got big thighs, just deal with it. I don't really care, but I mean, yeah.
And you've mentioned to me in the past that maybe, in terms of timing, like maybe mornings work for you best.
Yeah, mornings. I'm at the end of the day, I'm just, it's in my head all day, and it's building. I'm like, oh, I've got to go to the gym. I've got to go to the gym, and I'm very much like, I don't enjoy the gym.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy. I can do classes much easier because it's motivation to keep going, but I can't do.
Just go and do your own thing.
No way.
Yeah.
So so if I'm thinking about it all day and I'll get home and like say for example today it was like 30 degrees or something ridiculous. I was outside walking all day. If I get home, the last thing I want to do is like put my gym gears on and go and like motivate myself to go out. So First thing, get it done. You're in, you're out, sorted.
Nice.
Yeah. But getting up at 5:30 is a bit dusty as well. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like just it's hard with my schedule as well because like as I say, I'm probably walking between the hours of like I kind of leave the house at about 8:30 and I'm normally walking until about 3. and then I have a 1 or 2 hours, and then I generally have puppy classes or come to some kind of training or something in the evenings. So it's really hard to like work things in around that too. But by the time I get home, it's like 8 o'clock at night.
But you determine all the hours you work, and you can make anything work. You can change anything around.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Yeah, I can. But it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like, I know,
totally.
I have a certain amount of commitments, and I need to be able to work. I need to be able to make it work for my clients as well as best as possible.
Yep.
So I can't just be like, no, sorry, I can't do it at that time. I've just got to go to the gym. Like, this is...
Well, you can.
Well...
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I would, yeah.
Okay. No, all good.
Cool.
Sweet. So as of what, tomorrow? No, when are you going to kick off? When's the first session?
I will start next week.
Diet starts Monday.
Diet starts Monday.
Yeah, cool. All good. In terms of, I've been buzzing on the Netflix, the music vibe, maybe even podcasts as well. But for you, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Netflix/music. I know musically you'll be pretty limited because you've dropped down. I kicked her off my Spotify, everyone. I kicked her off. She's been mooching.
Been evicted from the Spotify.
And so now she's on that Povo Spotify.
Oh,
so she's
so
like
bad.
rocking
Can't
the
do
ads.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the ads. If you look up if you want to play a specific song, like no way. You've got to shuffle the whole album.
Really?
And you can't skip through the songs, yeah. I know, it's rough, mate.
I thought
it's
you
rough.
could make a playlist of just one song and then you could just play that song. But that's pretty dusty.
Yeah.
But then even then it'll be
probably
like,
could do that. I don't know.
hey, Spotify. They'll
Yeah,
have
but then you
ads
get
all the
an ad.
time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dusty. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. So you haven't been listening to much music? Besides the Beegees?
Oh, mate.
Talk me through your Beegees. Okay, so we sat down the other night and Nicole's like, God, how good are the Beegees?
No,
Like,
do you know what? We were watching this program on Netflix called Sex Education.
Yeah.
And it had the song, but it was a remake and it was slightly slower. And I was like, wait, what is that song? I was like, what is this? And I was like, that's a Bee Gees song, right? And you were, and you had no idea. You looked at me and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm just going to turn the lights on so
not
people
know
can see
this?
us in the video.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So that they can see my pajamas. Yeah. And I was like, how do you not know that if that's a Bee Gees song? Like what? So yeah, and then we just looked up the One Night Only concert on YouTube and just realised again how amazing they are. So we used to have, when we were kids, we did a lot of travelling around. So we've always had it like the family boat. So we used to always, every long weekend, drive over to the West Coast, a little place called Lake Canary to do like water skiing and stuff. And on the car ride over, I've got 2 brothers. So it was always our old Holden Commodore towing the wee...
Cranking.
Yeah, towing the wee boat behind. I was squished in between, of course, in the middle, in between my 2 brothers. And we had the same, probably cassettes. I don't know. At this age, it was probably cassettes.
Probably cassettes, yeah.
Playing on repeat time and time again. And it was the Bee Gees. It was Simon and Garfunkel, Cat Stevens, and who else was it? There was one other, the Beatles, of course. There was one
Eagles?
other. The Eagles, yes.
You're an Eagles fan.
My dad is an Eagles. Oh, loves it. And then you. So I like, especially the Cat Stevens. I would know that whole album. I think it was the very best of Cat Stevens. Not any of the Yusuf sort of stuff after he converted to Muslim. It was all the earlier stuff, and I knew the whole album, what song was, as soon as one song finished, I knew what the next song was, I knew all the lyrics, I knew everything.
Yeah.
And so when you'd listen, like when that is your childhood and you're just so exposed to it, and then you don't listen to it for such a long time, and then you come back to it, like,
Gold.
how good.
Yeah.
Like the Bee Gees, there's so many, like the song with Celine Dion, look it up people if you're listening. What is it? Immortal?
Oh,
It's
I don't know.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, she went down this rabbit hole, and she doesn't really like YouTubing anything. And then all of a sudden, we were watching full concerts and everything, and I was like, but to be fair, there were many a tune. I don't remember. There's probably 3 Bee Gees songs that I'd like. Oh yeah, that's
What
the
are
Bee
the
Gees.
3 Bee Gees songs?
Oh, I knew you'd do this. Staying Alive.
Of course.
And you've got me there. What?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You've
So.
just gone.
Yeah, I know but then if you play me a million songs, I'll know that that's the Bee Gees. But
Okay.
I'm like, I can't remember all the names of all the albums and everything.
Yeah.
because you just keep playing song after song, and I was like, I know this,
And all
this
the
is it.
lyrics
And I
just
knew all
keep
the
coming
words,
back.
and I was like, how do
Isn't
I know
that
the
good?
words? Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, so besides Beegees, musically, I know you're quite limited, so let's kick over to Netflix. What have you been digging? What's been going on? Give me a blank stare, right?
What have you been digging? We're kind of in a rut, aren't we? What did we binge?
No.
When we got back from holiday, because we'd been in Tochinori, the place we go to, there's no power, there's no there's limited cell phone reception. You've got to walk to certain spots to get it, but you kind of put your phone away most of the time. So of course there's no TVs, there's nothing. So like you've just got to enjoy each other's company, which is great. Yeah. So when we came back from holiday, we were like, oh, look at all these shows on Netflix, these new shows. And so we got well into a couple. The one, Don't F with Cats.
Something like that. Yeah.
That was like mind blowing.
Oh, I don't even know if I've mentioned that on the podcast. Yeah, that is good.
That is worth a watch, eh? Worth a binge.
So good.
And what was the other one we binged after that?
Unsure. I know we went through a bit of a phase there where we were watching like subtitle, not like dubbed
The
shows.
Circle. The Circle.
The Circle. Yeah, I've mentioned that. Yeah. How good.
Yeah. And then
Nicole's good. Her Netflix picks are so different to mine, but she's good at
the mindless
content. Like episodes that you're like, oh my god, what is this stupid show?
Yeah, well, most of the time, like I'm working when I'm watching, like at the end of the day when I sit down and we chill and we watch some Netflix, I'm still on my computer doing stuff, so I don't really want to.
This is true.
Yeah. So.
And it's frustrating.
Moral of the story: don't do business. Don't do your own business.
It's literally get up, and then she's down here on her laptop, and then
emails in the
works
morning
all day, and then comes home, sits on a laptop tinkering.
Yep.
She needs to sort of her business structures out, but that's my thoughts.
I'm sorry, I do have structures. When I'm like, nope, it's past 7 o'clock, I'm not going to answer my phone. You're like, oh my God, why are you not answering your phone? That's a client. And I'm like, okay, I've got systems in place. And you're like, if you don't reply right now, you've lost that client. And I'm like, no.
Yep.
No, I've got rules. If it's important, I'll get in touch with them tomorrow morning.
Nice. Where were we? Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that. Oh, that's right, because I like to mindless stuff because I'm normally, because I'm working every second of the day. So I like mindless stuff to just have in the background, just as like basically white noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do love it, but I'm very, very excited because you'll know why. What's happening next Friday on Netflix?
Oh, I don't know, it'll be RuPaul new season or something.
RuPaul's Drag Race season 12 is starting. So that will give me a reason to live.
So, oh my God. So RuPaul's Drag Race, for those who don't know, give them the rundown.
I think we've talked about it before on the podcast because I think I bring it up every time because I'm so obsessed.
Really?
I don't know. I've talked about it some.
Okay. Well,
it's amazing.
Give us
I talked about it last time.
What is it? And for those who are tuning in,
it's like a competition, a reality TV competition about drag races. Drag races. See, brain switched off.
Yep.
Drag queens.
Yep.
So they go through a series hosted by the only RuPaul.
Yep. And stock standard judges are
Michelle Visage, Carson Kressley. As anyone like us oldies would remember, he's the OG Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. He was the most flamboyant one. He's fantastic. You'd agree with that, eh?
He's good on that show.
Yeah, and the other one is Ross Matthews. Those are like the go-to judges, like the family, because they always have guest judges and stuff. But yeah, so it's like a competition and they have different challenges, and so some might be design challenges, some might be sewing challenges, some might be acting, comedy, like it's just everything, and it's just amazing. Like it's just so funny. Yeah.
And it's been going for what, 12 seasons?
The 12th season is about to come out, and then they've got All Stars as well, which has 4 seasons.
Let's summarise. It goes on and on.
I've watched every season twice,
millions
some
of
3
seasons,
times.
And there's all these characters, and they all have millions of followers, and she's obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Great content.
So season 12 is coming out. I'll probably not see her very often while she binges that. You're going to go back to back straight out the gate?
No, they release them weekly. So Friday night, you'll be gone. You'll be gone Friday with your CrossFit competition.
Oh.
So that's all me. Friday night. Normally they release it Friday night at like 9 o'clock or something. And then I'll watch it as soon as it comes out, and then I've got to wait another week. and then I'll watch that as soon as it comes
Dusty.
out.
I hate that.
I know, me too.
So annoying.
But it's kind of good though, because otherwise you'd literally, I'll just, like, you're away this weekend at your CrossFit competition. Yeah. So if
you'll do it all,
I would have done it all and got no work done and probably not, gone outside.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'm currently right now in the middle of an episode of, this is jumping over to my Netflix, The Goop Lab with Gwyneth Paltrow.
It's on in the background.
I was like, what the hell is this? I've heard Gwyneth Paltrow's involved with Goop, and I heard a little bit about that, and she's like business savvy and all that jazz, like a lifestyle brand. Then they've got this Netflix series, and this episode interests me straight out the gate. It's about it's called Cold Comfort, but it's all about the Wim Hof method. Now, for those who don't know, maybe I've mentioned the Wim Hof method and Wim Hof, but Buzzy Dude, the Iceman, they call him, he's amazing at breathing techniques and battling, like, he pretty much has, like, taught his body how to battle, like, disease through breathing and, like, cold exposure. Pretty buzzy, just interesting. And so some of her team, it's pretty much a series about some of her team going through and trying all these things that people hear about, like magic mushrooms, which is an episode which that'd be buzzy to watch. Like being cold, and then their team go through and try it. So far, interesting. Nicole?
Well, it's another series that you've started without me, isn't it? Classic you. You go ahead and start all these series without me, and then you dive right into them, and then you're like, oh, come watch this. I'm like, You're Narcos. You're in season 2, episode 6. I'm not going to jump in. I need to watch it from the start.
And I'd
Classic.
happily watch it from the start with you. Then, but you'd be
no,
like,
but you
no.
don't. You're off on your own, watching it all the time without
I'd love
me.
to.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's got 14 trashy shows that she watches.
That's fine.
The Circle. I think I jumped in episode 3. Didn't complain once. Just jump in.
I can't do that. It's not in my nature. It's not in my nature. I'm way too OCD to start at season 2, episode 6.
But there are
no way.
But there are a couple of times, even in the Circle, where I was like, wait, so who's this and who's that? But like, you figure it out. Jump in. Narcos.
No. And like
summary.
You do that with Suits.
Heaps of people have died. Yeah, Suits. Okay, Suits. I jumped in season 2 when I first watched Suits.
See, that's so wrong.
Didn't realise it was season 2 and just watched all of it. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like, I saw some previews or something. I was like, I haven't seen all this. And then I realised I'd missed the whole season.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the difference between me and you.
Yeah.
Away from Netflix.
Yeah.
Current affairs.
Oh, yeah.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Fine. With my limited knowledge, it's a great way to live. Don't watch the news. I don't know. It just seems like something buzzy is going on, and like 5 million people are in lockdown in China or something crazy.
Something buzzy is going on.
Yeah, no, as in terms of like, there's more to this than we know. And like, I saw an article or some title that was about like, there's a biochemistry testing lab in the same district as that, so they reckon that they're like, this disease is like come from some lab and it's like somehow broken out, and like, I don't know. Yeah, so
what have you been reading? What?
Oh man, stay educated. Yeah, so I don't know, it sounds like and like what was it on the news or someone was saying like, mate, more people die. Oh, was it you? Was telling me?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, they had a guy yesterday on the AM show, because we're big fans of the AM show. Well, I am. Rizzo just wants to watch YouTube all the time about FPV drones. So yeah, they were saying that basically, so far, that obviously it's such a new virus, they don't know much about it, they're learning, but so far 2.5% of the infected people have passed away. So they were like, well, that's actually less than what the normal flu is.
Yeah.
But of course, because it's this big thing and there's kind of the unknown, the media is really like taken it and just run with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yesterday morning I was watching the AM show, 81 people confirmed dead. This morning I was watching it. So the difference between yesterday and today, 81 yesterday, over 100 today. So within 24 hours, over 20 people dead. Like it's pretty scary.
But in the scheme of life, 20 people would have died from tripping over their shoelaces yesterday, probably. I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I sort of thought, I mentioned to you, and this may upset some people, but I mentioned it could be like the world's way of natural selection.
That's right.
We know that. I mean, China's overpopulated, right? I'm not.
Wow.
No, like that's a fact. That's a fact. It's overpopulated, and so is this. Is this nature's way of survival of the fittest and natural selection and choosing, the strongest to stay on this earth and keep their genes in the gene pool, and then all the weakest to see ya.
Maybe, but I just think that could happen anywhere in the world, and it's just something that. But then I heard facts that like billions and billions of dollars were spent on what other virus was it SARS? And they were like. It was just so overblown and so ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. The media have blown it up to be a huge thing. But SARS was quite a lot worse, I do believe. I don't know.
We're
it was in
discussing
2003,
but
so I was like 13. I can't remember much from that.
But we don't really know the true facts, to be fair. We just know what the media
Well, I don't know about
us.
you, but I watch the AM show, so actually I'm quite in tune
I just
with
feel
the
like
facts.
they're feeding us what they want to feed us. You're saying about the media, and then you're listening to what Duncan's saying on the AM show, which is a morning show here in New Zealand. For those global listeners.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like we were watching this last week. I think was it last week? And I said to you, I was like, they mentioned something about the coronavirus, and you're like, what?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, are you joking? Have you been living under a rock?
I thought she was taking a piss. I was like, what? What about the Spates virus? And what about the Carlsberg virus?
Funny.
That's honestly what I thought she was
funny.
saying. I was like, are you kidding?
And then they were sort of saying, are we going to declare it a global health crisis? And then breaking news on the AM show, they are not labelling it an international crisis. And then the next day, wait a minute, it's made its way to Australia. There's the potential cases in Queenstown. I was like, oh great, all right. So instead of doing something about it and doing because they were saying with screening overseas, they have temperature screening and they have more thorough screening when they go through the airports. In New Zealand, you go through your customs, they check your bags, but really they don't check much more than that. We don't have the thermal testing or anything. So it's kind of like, well, why not do this? If this is going on and there's a potential for this virus, I think someone said, when it comes to diseases, what's the best thing is isolation, right? We have isolation in our favour. We're like so far away from anything. Why wouldn't we use that as much as possible? Why wouldn't we do more?
Okay, Winston Peters just wants to shut off the borders, but then
not shut, but let's just do more. Let's do more screening.
But we can't
just while this is all happening. But then they were like
billions of dollars to set that up.
But what's going to happen is that they're just going to let this go on, and then all of a sudden it's going to be globally, and then all of a sudden once every country has an infection, okay, now it's a crisis. Let's start doing something about this now.
I just feel like there's a lot more to it than sure, it makes sense to be like up your screening protocols, but I just feel there's obviously more to it and they can't just click their fingers and do that. But I was on the news today, they were talking about how pretty much shut off the borders to the Pacific Islands because they were like, sure, we have hospitals and stuff that are at a certain high level, but over there something breaks out, they're going to battle like crazy to try and manage it. So I was like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Well, look at the measles thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They killed so many kids.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty buzzy.
Yeah, interesting. I'm talking about another, because you've got your conspiracy. You mentioned another conspiracy this morning.
Okay, what?
A certain basketball player there's unfortunately just passed away. Tell us what you think.
Oh, no.
Mr. Conspiracy.
Dun, dun, dun. I thought you were going to talk about Epstein, and I was like, oh God, here we go.
No, we'll leave that to Wayne. CW works.
Okay. Oh, no, I was just joking because hashtag Kobe. Kobe passed away, but then in some helicopter crash, but then they were like, oh, we're just looking through the wreckage and it's quite hard to actually distinguish the bodies here. And I was like,
which is, it's a helicopter crash, so it's going to be pretty brutal.
I was like, okay, Kobe still lives. He's actually secretly not dead. I just made a joke to Nicole, but, because I was like, yeah, it just seemed weird when they were like, oh, we can't really tell if there are any bodies here.
Why would
but-
you? Why though? Like, what would the reason be for that?
Yeah, Space
Was
Jam.
it? Is it?
Space Jam. He's going to
Space
come
Jam.
back as one of those big monster things.
That's right. You did mention
just
that. You
joking,
did
but-
mention Space Jam.
Yeah. Good movie.
But do you think? Because obviously someone passes away, there's a lot of hype around them. What was it like? Amy Winehouse, after she passed away, she had the most record sales ever.
Yeah.
Like straight after she passed away.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson, of course, like huge hype, bit awkward now. But, like stuff like that. Do you think that a conspiracy... I mean, I think you're crazy.
Oh,
but
me too.
do you think he's trying to build the hype up around him again?
Nah, surely not. But he already still has
Pretty sure he's died.
He still has pretty damn good hype. But what baffs me is when musicians pass away, like, who was it recently?
Mac Miller? No, that wasn't recent. But...
Miller. And then new music of his is discovered and released. And I'm like, okay, you're doing that to make money. So who's like setting this up? I'm like, that just seems a bit weird. But like, if you're a massive Mac Miller fan and he had recorded this and he wanted it to go out, okay.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, I don't know.
But then do you just leave it as it is, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
I don't know. It is
But
weird.
I see that happen. Mac and who else?
It's just sad that like in the case of Amy Winehouse and stuff, like why didn't she get that? Like why wasn't that appreciation there when she was live?
Yeah.
You know.
But that's
like,
but to be honest, that's for everyone. So
I
like
know.
you, like Kobe, people were like, oh yeah, he's great. Then he passed away, and they're like, oh damn, it's affecting me, and oh man, like all of a sudden they appreciate him that much more, and they're like think about it a lot more, and yeah.
Yeah, like when Michael Jackson was alive, everyone, I mean, obviously he was a legend, but everyone just took the piss out of his nose job and how he did white and hanging his baby over the balcony and stuff. And then when he died, oh my God, like King of Pop, such a massive deal, rah.
But
all of the negative stuff was swiped aside. Well, for a wee while.
Yeah.
And then it's just weird how that happens, eh?
Yeah, but then it makes sense, I guess, because they're
want to remember
they're
them.
alive and they're like they're still telling their story. They're still doing things. So the possibilities are like endless for what they could do.
Yeah.
But then once they are not there anymore, it's like, well, that's it. Like let's look back at everything that they have done because we know there's no more. Well, generally there's no more. Yeah.
No, yeah.
You're trying to call dogs up onto the couch.
I'm trying to call Leo.
The dogs have been good, very good to be fair. Oh my gosh. If you're tuning into the video version, apologies. We've had dogs barking upstairs. We've had dogs chewing bone things right by the mics. And now he's chilling.
Now he's in place.
On that note, we should probably wrap up.
Okay.
So we can chill, watch some Netflix, have a cuppa, finish that cuppa.
Because that's all we do these days. We're in that marriage life now, aren't we? Well and truly. How we go off, work all day, come home.
Yeah,
Netflix.
some of us at the gym. It'd be nice to hang out with you at the gym, actually. Yeah.
I feel like that's you. I feel like you've got your own group of friends and,
I do.
you know, that's your vibe. And I'm
Not
just going
gonna
to
talk
come
to
in and, yeah, exactly. You did ditch me the first time I went, but I made new friends. It's okay. I don't need you.
What do you mean? You do not want me to hold your hand around the gym. That'll be so dusty.
No, you'll be really sweaty too.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
On that note,
it would have been nice if you'd just point me in the right direction.
I did. I pointed you in the right direction, then got you set up with Clint at the front. Jeez.
Yeah, Clint was more like my husband in that workout, actually.
He's a trainer. What do you mean? This is what I had to deal with, people.
Yep.
Any last parting words? This could be your last time on the podcast ever. After that comment.
Oh, okay.
Any parting
Am
words?
I being fired from the podcast?
No, just it's a potential.
Parting words. Live, laugh, love.
Nice. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hope to see you back in season... What season is this now? This is like a roll-on season. Is it season 4?
Yeah.
Wait. Was there a season 3?
Yeah, I think I called it season 3 somewhere, and then I was like...
You just started calling it season 3?
Yeah.
Should we just start calling this season 4? Episode 1?
Maybe.
Okay.
Thanks, team. Bye.
Peace.